Mitch McConnell froze up due to a number of factors. Firstly, he felt like his political power and influence were threatened. His party had become fractured and unpopular, and he feared that continuing to make decisions in the same fashion would hurt them. Secondly, McConnell was worried about being attacked by his own party. He had already faced a number of challenges from the more conservative members of his party, and he feared that furthering any progressive agendas would make him a prime target. Thirdly, he was tight on allies. The Democratic Party had become increasingly unified, and the Republicans were quickly shrinking in numbers. McConnell knew that he needed to be careful in making decisions because he wouldn't have a wide range of support to draw from. McConnell also felt he had little to no room to move in his position. With the House and Senate held by different parties, McConnell was worried that making any decisions that seemed heavily partisan would toss away what little working relationship remained. Another factor that may have contributed to his decision-making process was the length of his time in office. McConnell had been in the Senate for a long time. He may have been tired from playing a grapple game for so long. Lastly, Mitch may have seen the writing on the wall that his time in office may be coming close to an end. He could see that the Republicans were again on the verge of losing, and he was worried that he could get dragged down in the process. Overall, there were a lot of different things that likely contributed to Mitch McConnell freezing up as the majority leader of the United States Senate. His fears of political power, of being attacked by his own party, of tight political allies, of no room to move, and of his own dwindling power all likely played a role. If he made a decision that went strongly against his party, he could damage their chances in the midterms. He wasn't willing to take that risk, and his cautious approach ultimately benefited the Republicans in the end. Ultimately, McConnell's fear of alienating his base and of damaging the Republican Party's chances of winning the midterms played into his decision-making process. He was not only protecting the party, but protecting himself as well. McConnell's conservative approach was the right move for the Republicans in the midterms, but it did not sit well with many progressives. He had done enough to protect his party and further their agenda, but his cautiousness was seen by many as stifling the progress of the Democratic Party. After the midterms, Mitch McConnell was given a second chance to make bolder decisions and push for progress. He chose the same cautious approach he had taken before and failed to make any headway in terms of furthering the cause of progressive politics. As a result, McConnell's caution has been criticized by many as an unnecessary roadblock that has made it difficult to enact progressive legislation. His decision-making process, though beneficial to the Republicans in the midterms, has not been seen as a great move for progressivism. It's clear that McConnell froze up due to his fear of alienating his base and of harming the Republican Party's chances of gaining power. His calculation was correct in the midterms, but it has hindered progressivism since then. McConnell's decision was smart for the midterms, but it was not smart in terms of furthering the cause of progressivism in the United States. His caution has been seen as a roadblock that has stood in the way of progress for too long. McConnell's freeze-up has been seen as a good move for the Republican Party, but bad for progressivism. It has been seen as a roadblock to enacting progressive legislation, and has hindered the Democratic Party's chances of gaining power in the future. The decision to freeze up was understandable for McConnell, as he was afraid of alienating his base and of squeezing the Republican Party's chances in the midterms. However, this decision may have hurt his party in the long run by not allowing for any real progressivism. While McConnell's strategy may have worked in the short term, it has been viewed by many as an impediment to progressivism. His refusal to make any bold moves has hindered the Democrats from gaining power and enacting progressive legislation. From Mitch McConnell's perspective, his decision to freeze up was the right one. His assumption was that if he made any bold moves that seemed too progressive, his base would be upset and the Republicans would suffer in the midterms. However, in hindsight, many progressives believe that McConnell should have gone for more progressive policies in order to broaden the Republican Party's appeal and increase their chances in the midterms. Although McConnell's decision was understandable, it has had negative consequences for the progress of the Democratic Party and America at large. His cautious approach has been seen by many as a roadblock, and has slowed down the progress of progressive policies. All in all, it's clear that Mitch McConnell froze up due to a variety of different factors: his fear of alienating his base, of damaging his party's power, of having no room to move, and of his own waning political power. His decision for caution was seen as sensible by many for the midterms, but it has been seen as a hindrance to progressivism in the long term. Had McConnell been more willing to make bolder decisions, progressivism may have advanced more quickly. All in all, Mitch McConnell froze up due to a variety of different factors, both political and personal. His decision to take a conservative approach was seen as the right one for the midterms, but it has caused many to question his leadership in the long term. While his motivation was understood, his freezing up was seen by many as a roadblock to progressivism. Had he been willing to make bolder moves, progressivism may have advanced more quickly, and the Democratic Party's power may have increased. Ultimately, it's clear that Mitch McConnell froze up due to a variety of different factors. It was a smart move for the midterms, but in hindsight, it was seen as an impediment to progressivism.